got here is one of the cheapest chainsaws that you can get your hands on. Another YouTuber actually gave me this, and I will confess, this is not a true unboxing because we opened it up to make sure it wasn't just a cement block inside. But this is a, I don't know how you pronounce this, Wemars. It's a 50cc. It's supposed to be a 50cc chainsaw. If you're not familiar with these are Chinese-made Amazon chainsaw. And what these are usually a clone of a Husqvarna or a Stihl that they've 3D scanned and then CNC machined parts to copy. This one, let's see what it is. Put it in the top here. Packaging, got chain, bar cover, chain to the bar looks like. It's an 18-inch bar. Well, I don't see any obvious problems with that. So it's got a roller tip, owner's manual, a gas can with an oil bottle. That's cute. What we got in here? There's the chain. Can't tell what kind of quality it is, but it looks like a saw chain. It's a 72 pitch chain, which would be the same size, same chain that like my 50cc Husky would use. What we got here? Some tools. A little screwdriver. I think that's what they pass for a saw file. That would not sharpen anything. I'm not sure what this is. It looks like spare parts. It looks like chain adjuster parts. A saw tool and 2 Allen wrenches. I'm not sure what the Allen wrenches are for. Maybe they're for adjusting the carburetor. And here we have a saw, allegedly. So, in case there's any question whether or not this is a clone of a Husqvarna, can you see the air filter latch? When they 3D scanned it, they didn't delete the H. So it's clearly a clone of some Husky model. So what model it's a clone of, I do not know. Saw here. And the only assembly this should need is to put the bar and the chain on it. Hi, buddy. Doing what little research I have. This was given to me by another YouTuber, the Redneck Computer Geek. I'm going to put a link to his channel down in the fighting box down below. And if you've never been to his channel, how do I describe this? He races lawnmowers. He takes lawn tractors and turns them into ATVs and racing machines, in addition to utility machines for his yard and whatnot. And it's pretty interesting, so check it out. And he had bought this for a project a couple of years ago that didn't end up happening, and then he left it sitting. COVID hit a couple of years later. He bought this, I think he said, in 2019, and just never used it. And then he came across it. He's moved on to electric saws since then, and passed it on to me, so see if it'll work and do a video on it. From what I hear about these things, about 10 to 15% of them come out of the factory with something missing, falling off, misadjusted, just not working in some way. So we'll see. Put the bar and chain on it, throw some gas and oil in it. Let's see if it works. That's a good sign. The chain brake was locked. So it means it probably works. And that's the kind of things I question about it. This chainsaw is $129 on Amazon. You can buy a slightly larger version. I think it's a 60cc for like $150. And from what I understand, these are absolute clones to the point where when you break this, as long as you can find out what model Husky or Stihl, in this case Husky, they cloned to make it, you can actually go to the dealership, buy Husky parts, and put much higher quality parts back on them. Because one of the things people do with these is make race saws out of them for those chainsaw competitions. Always make sure you put your chain on the right way. cuts on the bottom, the sharp parts of the teeth have to be facing the saw, holes toward the saw. Chain over there. This shouldn't matter which way it goes on. It's got an oiling hole on both sides. It's not. What I was saying about the race saws is they take these saws, which are super cheap. You can't buy the bare, like, engine castings for a Husqvarna for what you can pay for one of these saws. So I guess what people do is they take these and then they rebuild them with aftermarket parts and Husqvarna parts, and they high performance them. They put pipes, tuned pipes on them. They give them nitrous oxide, crazy stuff, and make these just overpowered chainsaws to go and do the lumberjack competitions with. That's a little interesting. Appears to be a screw that's preventing this thing. This screw right here into plastic. It won't need this. I wonder if this is just to keep this here during assembly, because you can't put this on with that screw there. And that's what holds the, I might have to replace that screw with a countersunk one. But let's see if I can just slide this together. It holds that metal plate that reinforces the adjuster bar and everything in place while it's apart. You shouldn't need it. Read a bunch of reviews, and like, you know, a quarter of the reviews were like, oh, what a piece of junk, my Husky any day, etc., etc., etc. And a bunch of reviews, most of them really, seem to be of the, yeah, these things are fine, especially if you just need a cheap saw you're going to use a couple of times and then forget about in your garage. Why would you spend $300 to $500 on a Husqvarna or a Stihl if you don't cut your own firewood, for example, you don't cut wood for a living, certainly, and you know, all you want to do is get rid of a couple of trees out in the backyard. Okay. So that adjusted, and it seems to tighten on. That's okay. Place here. I've got a tip greaser. Put some grease in the tip on the bar. This is just a little plunge grease gun. This is specifically made to put grease into the bearing at the tip of a chainsaw bar, which actually has some little bearings in it. Now, someplace here I've got some gas. See if putting gas in it results in a puddle. This is just premium with 50-to-1 Lucas synthetic 2-stroke oil in it. Oh, you can see since it's got a fuel gauge, that's kind of cute. A little clear spot in the tank. Probably the first place that will rot in the sun and leak. And let's give it only the finest junk motor oil for some bar and chain oil. We judge whatever's left in the end of every container of oil in the shop. ATF, gear oil, motor oil. Pretty much everything but brake fluid goes in here. Now, let's see a primer bulb. There's a choke. On-off switch. That seems to be it. Okay, choke disengages when you pull the trigger. No decompression or anything. Oh, that's weird. It's got a spring-loaded pull on it. Well, it certainly runs and sounds good. Fired right up there. All right. Let's see if it cuts wood. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, and I've got the Chinese Amazon chainsaw out here. We know that it runs. It started right up when I put it together. Now we're going to see if it actually cuts wood in any kind of decent fashion. If it cuts up this stuff all right, then I'm going to rope down a tree over there and we'll take it down. Well, I had this given to me, but I don't think I'd be upset if I paid $129 for it. Readjust the chain. It's running a little bit rich, but I think that's intentional because it's brand new and they don't want you to burn it up. It actually came with the tool to adjust the carburetor, so after I run a tank through it, I'll lean it out a little bit. I think I'll rope up a tree and we'll take it down. Always shoot. You know? That's how you catch some funny stuff that just happens.
It's shooting.
Yeah, it definitely runs and cuts. It's a chainsaw for $129 shipped to your door. Thank you again, Neil at Redneck Computer Geek. I'll be putting his channel link down in the doobly-doos down the bottom. And I wouldn't be sad if I had paid $129 for that. We'll see if it lasts, but it's certainly working. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.